Good afternoon, everyone. It's 12 a.m. in Delhi, but it's about the right time there. And let me take this opportunity to quickly welcome you all for this session. We're going to talk about Kathak, the dance of storytellers, and we're going to focus a little bit on the book, and we're going to talk to the author. Let me tell you a little bit about her before she joins in. Performer, choreographer, author, and educator, Rachna Ramya has studied Kathak under Dr. Maya Rao and the Jaipur style of Kathak under Pandit Rajendra Gangani, both recipients of Sangeet Natak Academy Award. She's also trained in choreography at the Natya Institute of Kathak and Choreography in New Delhi, India. Currently, she's teaching a course in dance at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, USA. She's also the artistic director of Sambhav School of Kathak Dance. And with this, I would like to welcome ma'am. Let's see.
Thank you.
A very warm welcome to you. But before we start, I would like to take this opportunity to actually dedicate this session to Professor Kapila Vatsan. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple of days back, and that's a terrible, terrible blow to the entire community of artists and academicians and everybody, perhaps everybody in India, because she was not just an art scholar and institution builder. She was an institution in herself, and this is a small tribute from our end, from Nyogi Books as well as our author Rachna Ji to her. May her soul rest in peace. But obviously, we've lost a great, great human and a great scholar today.
And I would like to offer my Shraddhanjali to Dr. Satya Vasan and to thank God for the performing.
Yes, absolutely. Um, but today, in her memory, let's talk about the dance. Let's talk about what she's worked for all her life, and let's go forward and take her legacy forward. So, yet again, a very warm welcome to you, ma'am. But we are gonna have. I have a lot of questions for you. I've read the book, and as a practitioner, I was learning Bharatnatyam under my Guruji, Padma Shri Geeta Chandran. And it's been a while. Work has taken precedence, but I miss the stage immensely. But then my work also gets me to talk about something which I really like to experts like you. And so we're going to talk about Kathak today and your experience in the art form and how do you see it. But to begin with, let's start with the title of the book. It's called Kathak, the Dance of Storytellers.
Yes.
So, as I know, they were Kathakars. Who were these Kathakars, and how is Kathak associated with these Kathakars?
Okay. Kathak started about 2000 years ago as a storytelling. The root word Kathak is Katha. The Katha is used, this word is used in so many different contexts to relate, to tell a story, to discuss, to give a discourse, to send a message. There are hundreds different contexts in which this word is used. So Kathakars were basically storytellers. And Mahasi Panini mentioned um, Katha the Vyastak in his book Siddhartha Comedy in 4th century BC. So the word that he used meant for touring artists who were telling stories. And then
Hmm.
in Ramayana, Mahabharata, and many ancient texts, we hear the word Pushpa or Tahanga or Kathakar. They all mean Kathak. So the storytellers who could tell stories but they used the medium of dance, drama, and music to tell these stories. And so we believe that Kathak at that time originated as a dance form and a storytelling art form at that time, and it evolved from there.
Okay. Now, this book also it reads like a story. So I actually enjoyed reading it immensely. But then, how did uh, this notch, the word notch, come into being? There was this anti-notch movement. There was a development and decline of Kathak. Could you tell us a little bit about it? Now we know it was mentioned in Mahabharata and it has a long lineage, but where did these connotations come into being?
The Notch Girls. So
Yes, the
it's a
not
very
within the anti-notch movement.
yes, it's a very sad part in the history of Kathak. When we talk about Notch Girls, Kathak really flourished in Mughal Kal. When British came to India, they ruled India for a long time, and they were not interested in Indian music and art or in Indian culture in general. So the
Hmm.
great gurus of Kathak, they had to hide in their villages, and female dancers were disgraced, socially humiliated. They were called Nachne Walis or Nach girls. So these
Okay.
dancers were not respected at all. They were dancing at the dinner parties, on highways, at many different places. But the art side of Kathak was taken away from Kathak at that time, and they were seen as just entertainers. And can
Okay.
I read a passage in my book? It's a reference written by John Neville, but he writes that a dinner in the community was usually followed by a Nautch performance. Nautch girls would also accompany the British Army whenever it was on the move, entertaining the soldiers on the way. At times, they were also used to welcome arriving guests on the highway. Quite often, lonely men would send for Nautch girls to entertain them in their own house. So, do you see the humiliation that these Kathak dancers faced as Nautch girls? But then, similar thing was happening in South India with Devdas.
Hmm.
So, Devdasis were dancing in the South Indian temples and they were married to gods for their entire lives. But they were manipulated also and sexually exploited by the Hindu authorities. But then, reformers with a group of reformers, and they were mostly Christian missionaries, spiritual lawyers, and social workers. They started the Watch movement. And
Hmm.
this is really heartwarming for me that in 1905, Prince of Wales came to India and they said that no, they don't think it's much Kathak dancing over there to welcome Prince of Wales. So they rebelled against the whole thing. And in 1952, Sangeet Natak Academy was established. By this time, the status of Kathak dancer and especially female Kathak dancers were elevated, and Sangeet Natak Academy really played a major role in the growth of performing arts in India. And at that time, four dances were recognized as the classical dances of India, and Kathak was
Hmm.
one of them. And other dances were Bharatanatyam, Kathakali, and Manipuri.
Yeah. Um, Now, as you say, there was a revival in India. You have actually taken Kathak to the international front as well. Tell us a little bit about that experience of yours. You're actually teaching Kathak in the US.
Yes, when I came here in 1988, I
Okay,
was
before I was
very
born.
yes, before you were born, I was very much discouraged. Everyone said
Hmm.
that people in USA are not going to understand what Kathak is all about. You don't do ballet and modern dance and jazz, so there's no career for you in Kathak. So I actually went for my MBA degree. I got a degree in business administration.
Okay.
I got a job Um, I survived in that job for 1 month. I wrote my resignation letter. After a few months, I got my second job, and you would not believe it that it was with Fidelity Investments, and I went early in the morning at 8 o'clock, and by 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I wrote my resignation letter. And that was the day I decided that I'm going to do just that. This is my purpose in life. This is what I'm made for. And it was supported by a lot of organizations in Connecticut, Connecticut Commission on the Arts, Arts for Learning, Little College, Charter Cultural Center. They all supported. They started um, inviting me for my performances. They gave me space where I could teach, and Kathak really flourished here in the state of Connecticut. So it was a very interesting thing.
But that gets me to a new question. That like I want to really ask it. Do you love dance or do you love Kathak?
This is a great question, and you are a dancer, so you can ask this question. Not too many people will ask this question. When I'm thinking about it, it's almost like asking, do I love this world or I love myself, my body, and my spirit? Obviously, I love this world because I am in this body. This is my home, right? But I love myself. So, yes, dance is like the world, but myself is like Kathak. This is where I feel at home, right? I can see the whole world, experience the mountains, the rivers, and trees, and people, and I love them. But I love myself most in a lot of ways, and Kathak feels like my home. This is where I belong. This is where I feel like I have arrived. So yes, I love it, but I respect it very much.
Thank you very much for putting it that way. Now that I wanted to ask another question, um, a little bit about Kathak itself. For example, in Bharatanatyam, we have a margam. That's the margam is how we have all our performances lined up. For example, we start with an alaripu, with Pushpanjali, then alaripu, and then we go on to do a jatiswaram, and then the varnam, and then we have the padams and javalis, and then we end with the tilana. Could you tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about the structure of a traditional performance in Kathak?
Okay, we have a structure also, but Kathak is very improvised dance form. If we are talking about the real Kathak, it's not done on recorded music with live music. So in different gharanas, Kathak starts with either a chant, Raj. These are
Hmm.
the introductory pieces that set the mood for the entire performance. Um, and in most of the gharanas, Kathak starts with a stuti or bhajan or vandana to
Hmm.
for to bring good energies in the hearts of the performer and musicians and the audience. And then we
Hmm.
have pieces uh, which is done in Vilambit life, which is slow speed,
Hmm.
in which we do Khas, Khan, Amad, and then we progress to Karan Amad, bigger competitions in Madhyalay, in
Hmm.
medium tempo. Chupras are performed, um, and a lot of footwork is done, and then we progress to group life. So after group life is the fast tempo, where very fast things are done. A Kathak performance can go from anywhere from 10 minutes to 3 hours long, 5 hours long, 6 hours long. When I was
Yeah.
in, I saw a few dancers in my small state of Bihar, and
Hmm.
I remember Mila Nagar dancing 3 hours without stopping. And I was like, this is when I decided that I wanted to learn Kathak.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you mentioned about gharanas. Now, please tell us a little bit in detail about the concept of gharanas, the history of gharanas. And we are all aware, I think most of us are aware that there are four major gharanas: Lucknow, Jaipur, Banaras, and Raigad. How did these start, and what is the story behind it? And could you tell us a bit more about the artists who actually developed these gharanas, who are very famous in today's time, and we see them as gurus today.
Mhm. Gharana is a compound word. It's made up of two different words, ghar and ana. Ghar means home, and ana is
Hmm.
to arrive. So gharanas are, when you say that I belong to this gharana, you are saying that I have arrived at my home. So gharanas are,
Okay.
in old times, dancers or students didn't have luxury of transportation. So there were gurus who were in certain cities of India, and in those cities, students were learning from them, and
Hmm.
they kept going to that one guru over and over because they couldn't move to other parts of India.
Okay.
And so they kept learning from them. Then the gurus had their own styles. They kept learning those styles, and then they started to teach the same style to their disciples. And
Hmm.
gharanas were formed, a style was formed.
Hmm.
Jaipur is the oldest gharana in Pakistan
Okay.
because Rajasthan, the atmosphere of Rajasthan was infused with art, music, painting,
Hmm.
poetry. So a lot of dancers and musicians were in Rajasthan.
Hmm.
It is believed that Jaipur Gharana started about 180 years ago. And
Okay.
dancers from Jaipur Gharana, basically from Rajasthan, moved to different parts of India and they established their skills. They developed their own technique and their own style. And at that
Hmm.
time, both gharanas were established. So,
Okay.
Rajasthan Gharana and Banaras Gharana are not practiced as much these days as Jaipur Gharana and Lucknow were.
Hmm.
Jaipur Gharana's history, Adguji, and then their children. Pandit Vindadin Maharaj was one of the very revered artists, and we hear about him quite a lot. You will hear the songs, hymns in which Vindadin Maharaj's name is taken at the end. So he wrote over 1,000 CDs, and Lucknow Gharana was marked with beautiful expressions and sentiments and delicate moments. And Jaipur Gharana started in Rajasthan. So mostly in Rajasthan, warriors lived. Kesariya Balam Ainu Pradhan Haridis.
Hmm.
So these were warriors, and so the dance form also adopted aggressive movements, energetic movements, a lot of strength and power in its dance.
Hmm.
And in Jaipur Gharana, there is not one person who you will see when it's the lineage tree is there. Many different lineages are in Jaipur. So
Okay.
one thing I'm very proud of that in this book that I have written, my guru Pandit Rajendra Gurwani, which belongs to one of Jaipur Dharma lineage, um, he gave me the real names of people. So many other books lack those names, or he said that in many books it's not right, so he gave me the corrected version. And so the book has correct version of Jaipur Dharma lineage. Raigad Gharana started during Maharaja Chakradhar Singh's time, and both the Jaipur Gharana dancers and Lucknow Gharana dancers went there, and they brought their own styles, and a new style was developed.
Hmm.
Banaras Gharana started in Banaras. Unfortunately, a lot of dancers these days are not abiding by the rule of Gharanas. The Gharanas are overlapping. So because people are just going to one guru to another guru to another guru, they are not learning things in depth. So there are people who are dancing pure Jaipur Gharana, pure Lucknow Gharana, and then there are
Hmm.
dancers who think that they need more experience for each Gharana to create a new Gharana.
Hmm.
And then also there are Toronto Gharana these days, America Gharana, but um, let's not talk too much about it. But yes, this is what Gharana is, the style of dancing, the school of Kathak dance, where
Hmm.
specific technical aspects are given to you and expressive aspects, and you practice that, and that belongs to that particular time.
Okay. Now that gets me curious. I've just been editing, I was just working on a book, which was about Mughal art coming to India and how there's a lot of Turkish influence in the Indian art, and we got Mughal art what we have today. When the Mughals came to India, how did it affect Kathak? Like, how did it affect the gharanas? Was that is what I'm curious about. Small things like how did the hand movements or anything or the music or how did those change? A little bit, with few examples would do. Would actually clarify a lot of things.
The first thing that happened is that the theme of that the devotionalism shifted to
Yeah.
romanticism. At the
Ah,
same time, in Hindi literature, after Bhakti Kal, the Riti Kal started. Riti Kal was all about erotic sentiments or Shringar
mm,
Ras. So Kathak dancers took inspiration from there, or maybe they took the inspiration from Kathak dancers, we don't know. But
mm,
the theme shifted to romanticism. And when we talk about romanticism, it's not only about the erotic sentiments, but it's also about the freedom of expression.
yeah.
And new instruments were created for the
Mm,
earlier, Pakhavas was used, Veena was used, that made the nature of it more devotional, and sitar was created, raga music was created in music, and
mm,
these were beautiful, delicate, elegant
mm,
uh, came into Kathak dance. So Kathak became uh, more romantic in nature, very
mm,
elegant were added to it, beauty of wrist movements, more body
yeah.
language added to it.
Mm,
So yeah, it became more sensitive when it comes to
yeah.
artistic expressions.
Yeah. I find it very graceful. I can't do that because I'm a little bit on so Bharatanatyam we have a lot of lines and how we do it, and it's a little different. It's quite different from what we do. But I've always been fascinated by the beautiful grace, the softness of a movement, and it's
Yes,
just beautiful. Um, but let's come to learning and teaching of a dance. So, as you are aware, sadhana of an Indian classical dance takes years and years of tutelage under the guru. And so I keep wondering, can we learn more than one dance form at a time? It took me 25 years and I still don't think I've even learned a bit of uh, of the entire repertoire of the dance and things like that. There's so much to learn. Uh, Still not there. I still don't consider myself there.
yes. Um, a Russian composer said that music is enough for one lifetime, but one lifetime is not enough for music. And I
Yeah.
think it's true. And all the gurus will say the same thing. Um, one of my gurus, he said that he feels that after practicing, he's one of the greatest masters in India. And he
Mm,
says, it feels like I have jumped in the ocean and I don't even know how to swim,
yeah.
right? So it's like
Yeah.
that. If you want to go
Mm,
deep. But if you are just going to learn few items here and there, you can learn many dance styles. There are people who are doing more than one dance style. Um, if you believe in Dr. Robert Gardner's multiple intelligence theory, there are some people who can do that. And in Indian music, Pandit Nayan Ghosh, he has equal mastery over sitar and Kathak, right? Um, Parvati Datta, she does Odissi and Kathak. But still they have mastery over one, and they are spending their 24 hours a day thinking about their form or so no,
yeah.
for me at least, I don't think that in this lifetime I will get even K of that.
Yeah.
It feels like if you
Yeah.
immerse yourself into it. There's no way.
Yeah. Uh, Yet another question now. This is, we know one lifetime is never enough. Uh, but in this COVID times, specifically, when physical classes are not really possible at this point of time, how are the digital mediums faring in? Do you think the digital teaching can actually do justice to how we actually teach dance in India, the Guru Shishya Parampara?
So during the crisis, I think virtual
Hmm.
classes are really great. It's a blessing that you can do that. But
Hmm.
before COVID-19, people were trying to learn through virtually. They were finding gurus in distant countries or different places, and they were learning online. Or
Hmm.
some people were even learning watching a YouTube clip. So no,
Hmm.
it's not happening that way. The entire Indian music and dance or performing art system is based on Guru Shishya tradition, master disciple relationship. So you
Hmm.
go to master, the master transfers knowledge to you, and
Hmm.
then you are just mimicking your master, just memorizing those. You're not even questioning what is this all about. Then you understand it a little bit, right? And
Hmm.
then you assimilate it, even
Hmm.
analyze, and then you find your own ways to go from there. And if all that happens in a very intimate setting where you are with
Hmm.
your guru all the time, every day, and this setting encourages trust,
Hmm.
dedication, commitment, and love for Guru, and the Guru loves him or her disciple. So, and then a lot of sadhana happens when you are with your Guru in person.
Yeah.
You will see, you will hear the word riyaz in Kathak all the time.
Hmm.
Riyaz.
Yeah.
Um, आपने रियाज किया? Did you practice today? But riyaz
Hmm.
is not this. The riyaz word means digging. So when you dig the earth, you find mud, soil, dirt, right? You keep
Hmm.
digging, digging, and at the end you find sweet, clear water.
Hmm.
So riyaz is like that. In front of your guru, you say that, oh, this is too difficult. That's your dirt. Um,
Hmm.
I'm being impatient. Am I going to learn this entire thing?
Hmm.
That is soil. I'm tired today. You will take
Hmm.
care of all that, which cannot happen virtually.
Hmm.
And I really, really hope that after COVID-19, we come back to
Hmm.
normal learning and teaching style.
Hmm. So I remember, I if I couldn't hear my guru scolding me if I'm doing something wrong, or even appreciating if I'm doing something right, I don't think I would have developed that love or that intensity to do something. I think the physical proximity with the guru teaches you so many things. There are times when we were not even dancing; we were just observing her in front of it, and we were overwhelmed by just seeing her do it. And that overwhelming feeling, I don't think that comes through a digital platform. But of course, in temporary times, I agree. It's actually a boon. Like it's a boon today that we're able to talk to you, sitting in two different time zones, and we can talk about, and I can learn a lot from you. So it's definitely a boon today. But I hope it's a temporary measure, and we get back to the actual um, parampara of teaching an art form
Yes,
soon. And with that, I would like to close the session that we've almost exceeded our time limit for by 10 minutes. But then, of course, it's an interesting conversation. We want to keep on going on. But I hope everybody who's joined in today uh, would have noted something or learned something new as I did today. And this book is a masterpiece. It has, if you want to know a little more about Kathak, then you have to read this book. This book is not only available in India, though published in India, It's available in US and Canada, and everyone interested in this beautiful, beautiful art form uh, can read this book, and I'm sure you'll gain a lot of knowledge from this book. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time.
Um, Trisha, I
Kind
will
of.
just take 1 minute to say how
Yes.
thankful and how grateful I am to Niyogi Books. This book took 5 years to write, but the way you all designed it in Niyogi Books, the cover is beautiful, the pages are beautiful. Anyone who sees at this book, they say that it's a beautiful design. And I'm
Thank you.
very, very thankful to the books for taking a book on subject of Kathak and publishing it. Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure. It's our honor to have published it. And thanks to my entire team behind the stage,
Yes,
behind the screen. They're actually working with me to do whatever we are doing today. It's a complete family that we are working. And thank you for appreciating us. It really means a lot to all of us here. Good night then, till we catch you again. Maybe next time for a workshop very soon to tell the nuances of some of the Abhinaya. That
yes,
I missed out a question on the Naikas, but I was very keen on that. But of course, perhaps different Naikas and the modes, we could explore that in the next session.
sure. Thank you very much, Trisha.
Thanks, same here, and have a great day. Good night.
Have a good night.